Done,
Live.
Adrian.
And
We are
we're
live.
live,
Hey, Esther.
Hello.
Hey,
How's it
John.
going? Good
John.
morning. Good afternoon.
Hey,
I
everybody.
see, of course,
Wow.
Caroline, Esther, Wendy. Good to see you, Carlene. There's Jill. Toyin. Hey, Toyin.
Hi, John.
Hey, we got
Hello.
Kim here. We got Kim.
Hi, John.
Kim and Kim. Look at all these awesome people. Hey, Isaac. How you doing, brother? Isaac,
How you
got
doing?
a whole lot of background noise going on there. You got something playing in the
All right, sorry
background.
about that. There we go.
There it is. Good to see you guys. Kyoko, there she is.
Hi, John. My first time here.
All here. Good to see you guys. We're going to go ahead and have a fun little conversation today.
Hello.
Hello. We're going to have, oh, is that Mary? Hey, how are you? Looking awesome as always. Yeah, look at all these awesome people. We're going to go ahead and get started. Good to see you, Maria. What are we going to talk about today? I got, well, first of all, let me acknowledge those of you who are starting to list things on Amazon. Adrian, this is getting real, isn't it? Nice. So we've got progress being made, and that brings up a topic which actually someone had prompted for me yesterday. Someone who I enjoy having time with and conversing with, and that is the idea of I suppose I would say owning that you are in fact a professional and an authority in your field. This is kind of an interesting thing. It's one that I've dealt with probably more often than many people here, because after all, if the main action of doing your Amazon business is listing products in such a way that people simply want to buy the product and they have no idea who you are, then well, it's kind of anonymous in some ways. And yet the world that I've been in for a long time is definitely not anonymous, right? There's a whole lot of personality and credibility, and certainly you've got to have credibility on Amazon as well if you're going to be, selling a product into the public. Your reviews will reflect that, okay? But there's a little bit of a mental hurdle that I think sometimes people need to get over, regardless of what field, and that's any time that you're looking to impinge into the public space. Right? You're looking to put yourself or your goods or products or services out there, and you've not done that before. And perhaps up to this point, all you've done is you've been a consumer. So let's take a look at this, because there's two sides of Amazon, right? Well, we could say there's multiple facets of each side too, but if we just keep it really, really simple, there's the public facing customer side. And we could say that's true of any website, not just Amazon. Okay. And then there are the people behind the curtain, the Wizard of Oz, if you will, behind the curtain, who's pressing the buttons and pulling the levers, causing the experience that the public is about to have, right? Causing that to occur. Understand, people buy from people. Sure they do. Buy whatever technological via that may or may not exist, right? We can go ahead and turn back the clock. Actually, we don't even have to turn back the clock. Let's go out to, Amish country or something, and then we ride up on our cart and we buy the milk and the fresh eggs and the honey and the whatever, right? And we exchange with whatever currency is being used. And there's no tech at all. It's like, here's a human and here's another human, and they're making an exchange. In the simplest form, that's commerce, right? I mean, that's what that is, right? That's exchange. However, what if, just to, I guess, go with this visual, what if the farmer person somehow felt like an imposter or something? Like, I don't know. I mean, they could always go buy the other guy's eggs. I mean, why are my eggs even better? I'm not so sure that I've got the good honey, right? All that self-doubt kind of stuff, that inner dialogue, that self-talk. And some of us brought this up yesterday when we were having our little conversation about, the thorn in our side, or the one problem that if we could solve that, we'd go on a rocket ship ride. I think for a lot of people, this is something that goes undetected. But truly, if we think about our self-image, if our self-image has been limited to that of a consumer, and there's a time to be a consumer, of course there is, right? I'm a consumer all the time. I just hung some shelves for my wife, right? So we bought the stuff. I didn't already have shelves. I don't make shelves. I don't produce shelves. Home Depot, in this case, I walked in, I bought the stuff, and I just used my tools, which I also bought there. Okay. And now she's got shelves, right? So I produced something that I had consumed from somewhere else. So there's got to be both. Here's where I'm going with this. We've got to be able to flip the switch in our minds and say, you know what? Now I am the authority in this field. When it comes to widgets, or whatever it is. Let's say I'm looking at Meg right now. Hi, Meg. So good to see you. So let's say that Meg's widget business, right? And there's other people that sell widgets too. Okay, but why Meg? Look, you've got to be able to answer the question, why Meg, or insert your name and whatever the product, service, or offer is. I'll quote the late Jim Rohn, who I've quoted many times with my most famous sentence that he ever said, which was, if you want to increase your income, increase your value to the marketplace. That is a loaded sentence right there. So let's look at the words. If you want to increase your income, okay, so we know who we're talking about now, and we know the end result that we're looking to observe here. The end result is your income going up, okay, you personally. All right, there could be no issue of worthiness there. Okay, that's where we're going with this. So if that's what's good and right, and that should happen, and that's what you want to happen, then you must increase your value. See the word "you" keeps showing up here, to the marketplace. That implies some doingness, some production that's happening. It's not you sitting there being the consumer looking at what everybody else is doing. Now, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. There's two big points with all this. One is that it's easy to be a consumer, and we've been indoctrinated into it. Okay. How many of you run YouTube channels, for example? I'm on YouTube all the time, right? Not only as the consumer of content, but as the producer of content. Now, how many people do you think balance those two flows? The inflow and the outflow. You can inflow as a consumer all day, right? In fact, you could do that here with your course materials as well. You've got all the beautiful modules and the Navigator and 2020 and oh my goodness, lots of great stuff that you can take in as the consumer of the content, of the training, as the student. Okay, however, do you not like reverse that flow now and say, now I'm going to go produce something in the marketplace? When we opened this room, Adrian was talking about getting ready to pull the trigger on some shipping with the products that he sourced and all that. Fantastic. But sometimes, here's the thing, guys, sometimes there's this undetected hesitation. And I don't know how many, you don't have to own this if this isn't you, okay? But there's this undetected hesitation that since I'm observing people who are at the top of their game, like Sophie, for example, at the top of her game with her Amazon stuff, or Christine or Fiona, right? Or any of the experts behind the scenes here who are producing the content that you're consuming, right? Who am I? Am I an imposter? Now am I their peer? I don't feel like their peer. You damn well better get that idea in your mind that you're their peer. I mean, look, the end result, and I've seen people, because I've been in the like the spiritualism space, and there's lots of different paths and all this, but I've been around various people in groups where the end result was them being a devotee of whoever the guru was or something like that. Like that's the end result, is that you get to be a devotee. That is not the end result that the guru is intending. So what was that Zen quote? Stuart and Leah sent me that book, The Zen and the Art of Archery, right? And there was a Zen quote from, I think, Lao Tzu, who said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And when the student is truly ready, the teacher will disappear. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the teacher to disappear. Now, that's a bit, high on the gradient. Okay. So it's all on a gradient. You do this gradually. But the point is, you got to do it. The point is, you got to become the producer. The point is that you can outproduce those who came before you. And it's good and right for you to do so. I mean, as long as you're doing it with ethics and integrity, and you're, in fact, providing value into the marketplace. But there can't be a question of worthiness or deservability, which is a word that some people have made up. Right? A lot of it is subconscious, like you're not thinking about it. Like, look, if I actually do this and succeed, oh my goodness, now what? Now I'm the authority in the space. Everybody's looking at me. Everyone's looking at me. I dare not do that, right? Those special people over there, that you want to look at them, right? So there's a lot of consumerism going on, but how about producerism? So that brings me to the big point or stumbling block here, is the idea of, if you're going to increase your value to the marketplace, you've got to know that you've got value. There's the worthiness issue. So when we look at like in the space that I've done a lot of work in, and information products and seminars and courses and things like this, dealing with intangibles, right? You can't touch the course. You guys can't touch, like, for example, Blue Sky, right? That's an intangible product. it's got huge subjective value for the producer. Okay. I mean, think about this. If you don't produce something with this content, you might as well just be watching YouTube videos. What do we got? We got kittens. We've got stuff that you can look at, right? You get entertained. My daughter does it. My daughter's got these channels that she watches with toys, like unboxing of toys. And they drive me crazy too, because basically it's hours and hours on end of people unboxing toys and showing the toys. Really? Really? That's what you're watching? Yep, that's what she's watching. So she's got a lot of toys now. Okay. But you could go all day and do that stuff. So we got to kind of limit that for her. And there's personalities involved. You don't get to see the faces. You just get to see the well-manicured hands unboxing the toys. It's always some very pleasing sounding voice of some young lady, right, who's doing this. Cookie something or other is one of the channels. Those of you with little girls, you're probably familiar with Cookie Time. I don't know, something like that. But think about that. That person right there, what do they do? What are they producing? So they're getting ad revenue, of course. Hey, here's the toys. Run your camera, paint your fingernails, unbox the toys, and talk about how great they are. Here's some money. Here's free toys. Do this. You got like 1 million subscribers. Holy crap. Okay. Is she the authority on toys? I don't know. Probably not. It's an adult. I don't think any adult would really be an authority on toys, but she has no problem. She's not an imposter, right? She's the authority on toys. I was looking at some new tool storage and to get my garage exactly the way I want it, right? I'm like into my garage all of a sudden. I just go in these phases. And so I'm watching, toolbox reviews on YouTube, right? Guess what? There's a ton of channels. Like listen to this. This is, I think, bizarre, but you can go watch videos right now on YouTube of mechanics, like with a camera, giving you a tour of their toolbox. Like you really care, like which sockets they've got in the drawer. Like people watch that. And they got like thousands and thousands of views. Okay. I suppose that they feel that that's a good and right thing. And look, people thumbs up. Oh, I like that tool. I like the way you laid out the sockets. Wow. What do you think of that toolbox versus that toolbox? This could go on for months and you could never take a break. The point is that as much as the internet has democratized your ability to communicate, to impinge on the public, which is a necessary action. If you're going to have any commerce, any business, any marketing, you must impinge on the public. As much as the internet has democratized that to the point where you have much more reach than the farmer guy, right, selling the eggs, okay? It only empowers you if you use it, if you become a producer. And there can be no question of worthiness or deservability or who's the authority here. I've seen many, and I'm sure you have too, because I hear this all the time from you guys, especially when we do like our business launch strategy sessions. And I'm meeting with some of you today on that, by the way, right? And a lot of times the survey questions that I get, because as you guys are going through the Jetstream process, right? You get two flows there. There's inflow and then there's outflow. Then what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Write something to John so he can read it, right? So we got to balance those flows. This is important. And the most common thing I hear from people when it comes to why they even initiated their membership here with Blue Sky is, and you guys probably know what it is. If I went around the room right now, 70% of you would say this: Sophie just seemed authentic. I saw all those other things out there, charlatans, right? False prophets, hype, lies, right? I thought this might have been a scam, but you know what, Sophie, and now of course meeting you, John, and blah, 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 right? So it's the authenticity of it. It's the accessibility of it. It's the reality of it. And hopefully that doesn't only break down the barrier to you participating as a consumer of the education. Hopefully it also breaks down the barrier of you thinking that somehow these people are special or on a pedestal or something. Please don't put me on a pedestal. Okay. I'm just another bozo on the bus. In fact, many of you are more expert, specifically with Amazon, way more expert than me. I'm the town philosopher over here, right? You want to talk about, the meaning of life and why people succeed and why most people don't and all that kind of stuff. I'm your guy. We could talk for months. I've been studying this stuff for 3 decades. Okay. However, does that mean that you somehow, because you've got these people who are at a higher station, let's say, or higher on the gradient in certain areas of self-expression or production on the internet. Does that mean that you cannot be an equal or greater authority in your niche? You can. Oh my goodness, you can. And there's plenty of room at the top. There wasn't just one guy showing his toolbox. There were hundreds of them, hundreds, right? There's not just one cookie girl doing the toy unboxing thing. You can spend your entire life watching these videos. What is the rate of upload to YouTube? I think it's something like 2.3 days worth of video is uploaded every minute. Some crazy stat like that. But of course it's free, right? It's free with the ads, right? You're not paying, you're actually the product. When you get on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, you know what the product is there, right? You're being sold. Your attention is being sold to the highest bidder for advertising. You're the product. Traffic. That's the magic, right? So you get to be traffic. You get to have your attention sold. Think about this, guys. Think like a producer. What if you just did, and again, this is, and I'm going to shut up after this, okay? But what if you just did, let's say a website. Let's say that you were interested in being not only successful as an Amazon seller, which nobody really knows your name. Of course, they know your brand because you've branded yourself and you've got 15 products, and that's all very nice. And I know that's a good, trustworthy brand. But let's say that you also branded that off platform. So now here's, go back to Meg, here's megswidgets.com, right? And let's say you were actually successful at that, right? Now that's a bit of work, right? To build that brand. And I mean, one of the companies I run is a branding agency, right? So there's a lot that goes into that. But let's say that you were actually successful and now that brand became a trusted authority in that space. Wow. Now what? You've got an asset here. You've got a book of business. You got a bunch of customers who buy your stuff, who refer others and who come back and buy more. You've got a brand, you've got a website, you've got that whole thing. What if the big company just came and said, you know what, here's $2 million to take a walk. We'll buy it all. Would you sell? I'm suggesting you start thinking like that. Meg's nodding her head. Yes. All right. So it's all about Meg right now. Okay. But for the other 231 people here, would you sell? Think with the end in mind, right? Look, if there's any resistance to you building your business up to the point where you could take a $2 million walk or 5 or whatever the price is, okay, we got to pull that weed right now. All right. That is an end result that is good and right. It's much different than the end result of you get to be a consumer and always be a devotee of the guru or something. Okay. And I'm not, please guys, I am not making any disparaging statement against any particular spirituality or religion. I'm swimming in that stuff. I love it. Okay. I got books from all different kind of gurus on my bookshelf. Okay. But the point is the end result, the observable phenomenon isn't just that you get to be a disciple or something. There's more to it than that. You get to cost something as well, right? So consider that and consider your own worthiness of that $2 million payday or whatever the end result is that you're postulating. You're in the driver's seat. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not necessarily easy or everybody would do it. Okay. But is it worth it? Well, you tell me. I think it's a whole lot more fun to think big and to go fast and to play to win than it is to tiptoe through the tulips here trying not to lose or being so damn cautious that, what is it? I think Earl Nightingale said rather than venturing into the great ocean, being with the timid creatures of the lagoon, right? The little minnows, right? There's an ocean out there, right? How big are you willing to think? How big are you willing to play? And do you deserve to? Well, I'll tell you what, if you got a reason to, if you got a good and right reason, and it's good with, with your ethics, your morals, your integrity, right? Well, why not hit the throttle, right? Half measures avail us nothing. Let's do it. My goodness. If not you, then who, right? Is there some other authority who will rise up because they just decided to? What does it take to be an expert? What does it take to publish? Willingness. And then, the crowd, the customers, if you will decide. Look at the reviews on Amazon. We're back to Amazon now. They will decide if that's the expert there. I don't even shop anymore when I'm going to get a certain kind of a product. I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going on Amazon. I'm buying from that brand. All right. So that's where you can get with all this. Okay. But not if you're sitting there wondering if you even deserve to, or if you're an imposter or something like that. Guys, that's what came up for me today based on, thank you for the suggestion. Somebody brought that up, and I hope that serves you. We're going to go to back to Adrian, and then Kathy, and then Star. Adrian, you've got the floor. Come on out, brother.
Hello, everybody. I agree with you totally, John. I've got the biggest word in my mind now, and it's on my wall, is passive income. I'm not just selling on Amazon. I've got 5 other platforms I'm sourcing in the next couple of years. So I'm looking at the big picture. I want the big gold medal. And if you need to dip your feet in the water to realize what you're doing. Dip your feet in the water. What comes off? Massive waves. Just imagine that could be your business. Then massive waves. It's just a case of jumping in, go up for it, and not think about it. Just think of an end result. Like I'm thinking of the end results that I'm going to be a millionaire, and no matter how long it takes me, that's my goal. Just think of a drop in the ocean and the waves of your business expanding. And that's how I'm thinking. Passive income, passive income, passive income, passive income. And everybody's in it are amazing. They are just fantastic. Just don't be scared. Just go for it like I've done.
There you go. You know what? Napoleon Hill in his classic Think and Grow Rich talked about developing like an obsession with your success. So it's like, I don't see any obstacles here. I have to have that. Have to. So Adrian will not be denied. Thank you, sir. That was beautiful. Kathy Marble's got the floor. Hey, Kathy.
Good morning, afternoon to
she
everyone.
is.
Happy Thursday. Thank you, John. If you could please elaborate on the egg seller, okay? Because many of us, it's not for me so much consumer seller paradigm. It's the growing up in compulsory education or moving from a skilled a journeyman to a skilled laborer to a laborer or a laborer. It's a qualification paradigm where you start here and you arrive here at some point. But we're dealing with I have the product, I have the eggs, and I'm an egg seller. So how do you walk that out of what paradigm you're used to dealing in and seeing and aspiring to, that is so structured, and so you can't do this until you do this, and when you arrive here you're qualified. So good luck with that.
Like linear progression type thinking.
Yes.
Right. So that's the trap of trading hours for dollars. That's the trap of the employee quadrant. Read Robert Kiyosaki, Cash Flow Quadrant.
Haven't done that yet.
Yeah, read that. And what you'll notice is that, and also T. Harv Eker, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So what a lot of people have been indoctrinated into is linear income type thinking. Like, I am exchanging this much value based on the amount of time I'm putting in to get this much, recompense. In this case, as entrepreneurs, we get paid for value delivered into the marketplace. You get to leverage the amount of value that's delivered into the marketplace via technology. Are you showing up to hand the eggs to the person? No, I never even saw the eggs. Right. And so sometimes that's a bit of a leap for people. It's like, how could I make $100,000 a month and never touch the product?
Right.
Yeah. Get okay with that idea. That's an okay idea. Yeah. But it's not going to happen with employee thinking. So beautiful stuff. Thank you for bringing that up. Where's Star? Hey, Star Hart.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, another familiar face.
Yeah. So well, this is the end of my 3rd week now on this fabulous course. And I'm feeling super excited. So I've got my business strategy call with you, John, tomorrow evening. Well, morning for you, I believe. And then I've got my first coaching call next Tuesday. And I've even taken a day off work on Monday so that I can really spend the time and focus on ensuring I've got some good products to talk about with my coach, so as not to waste the time with them. And I'm very excited, but yes, I'm feeling somewhat overwhelmed, I suppose, and a bit nervous about perhaps my product ideas aren't great. I don't know. It's a bit. I feel like I'm on a bit of a cliffhanger until I see the coach, and to get the go ahead and give me the confidence to start looking at suppliers and making those next big steps. But I've really thoroughly enjoyed the AX10 video selection, which I've been watching this week, and particularly the last one with that, I've forgotten his name, the old guy. What was his thing about?
Elle Nightingale?
The key, something about the key. Is that him? Laddie, was that, what was that?
Earl?
Elle Nightingale.
Yes, and it's
Another
just
one.
like a black and white picture with an
That's the
old
one.
boy.
Just amazing that was.
I just found that so inspiring.
Yeah, me
So
too. Me
incredible.
too.
I
I'm
want to
glad I included it.
I want to download it and listen to it every day.
Do
But,
that. I've listened to it at least 1,000 times.
It's just
I'm not
so
exaggerating.
incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm so inspired by this whole journey, and it's been incredible. I feel so much more positive. My daughter, I woke her up the other day before yesterday, and she's like, "Why are you so happy?" When I get her up to go to school. But it's really rubbed off on her as well. She's been super happy, super productive. We're looking forward to the future, and everything's amazing. And I'm just really conscious of staying positive and trying not to let any doubt creep into my mind. And I want to try that that guy, I've forgotten his name again already, 30-day positivity thing. But I'm going to wait a little bit, and maybe until next week before I start, because I still feel I've got a little bit of doubt about my product selection.
Do not wait, Star. Do not wait.
But generally, it's rubbing off on me in all parts of my life at the moment. My affirmations and the time I'm spending on focusing on myself, which is and I just look at what's been happening in my life the last few years, and I realize it is because I haven't been giving myself the focus, the energy, the attention, the time that I've needed, and nobody else is going to give it to me. I have to give it to myself. So I really feel like I've started on that journey, and I look forward to losing all the doubt.
Nice. Beautiful. And I'm looking forward to meeting with you more on that. So this is going to be fun. I am excited for you, Star. Well done.
Thank you.
Where's Carlene? And then we'll go to Wayne and then N.
Right
Thomas. Hey, Carlene.
Hi, John. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me clearly? Because
Yes.
I seem to have lost my voice. I have a 3-year-old and I have to keep sometimes shouting. So just wanted to say hi. I didn't get a chance to speak yesterday, but you did that exercise where everyone was going to say what's keeping you back, what's holding you back, what's basically that obstacle in your way. And Starheart actually mentioned something that's very common, I think, to many people, and it's the doubt, it's the fear. And as you mentioned as well, it comes from the conditioning because, well, in the Caribbean where I'm from, we have this culture where you're not supposed to probably want too much because it's seen as a negative thing. It's seen as being conceited and seen as being greedy. So you have this type of lifestyle where you just really, you satisfied with the crumbs that you receive because blessed are the meek and all that. It's a super religious community. And you're made to feel like trying to reach too far or attain too much is a virtue that you shouldn't really have, or you shouldn't really aspire to have those things, because then it leads to negative behavior and negative traits. And having to get that conditioning out of your head takes a long time, because remember, this is like the upbringing that you have. So the doubt is there, the fear is there when you start to come out of your comfort zone, because for a long time, you just left feeling like if you desire too much, it's evil. If you want too much, it's greed. And reading the books that you mentioned hit on the part where we're supposed to stop having, just linking negativity to prosperity, because that's what it's been for many years. If you're a prosperous person, or you're probably a scammer, or you probably, defrauded someone somewhere along the line for you to achieve what you have, based on the culture of the people who became rich, became rich off certain deeds. So then you attribute that level of wealth to that level of behavior. So you see it as it goes hand in hand, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. And having to realize that, it's like shocking, because no one tells you to just separate the two, separate evil from wealth, because I guess many people probably believe it still to this day. So yeah, the fears there, the doubts there, and you have to get out of your comfort zone and start to unlearn a lot of things. So listening to everyone, and even realizing that this journey is not just for myself. Many people actually have maybe experienced parents who are a little bit hippie or a little bit conservative, or just like super religious, and maybe it was maybe not their fault of their own, but just their environment. That's what they knew at the time. So the next generation has to undo all that damage, all that trauma, and it becomes exhausting after a while. But based on the information we're getting from the course, it's starting to make sense, and it's starting to become something that's a little bit easier. You don't feel too bad about thinking, I deserve this, I want this, I'm going for it. As Adrian even said, Adrian's actually just gunning for it. I'm blown away by Ego and Adrian and everyone on the course who are doing what they're doing and being really decisive and not letting fear stop them, because fear has actually stopped me from doing many things. And as Star mentioned, we're now trying to combat that behavior and push forward. So before I leave though, I want to say something, John. Is there any way we can have a class reunion, like Daily Success Calls 2020, class of 2021 next year or something, just to see where everyone is a year from now? If we all make it to 2021, we all get back here at the same place. Maybe you'll have new students, but we need to create a group for the people that are on these calls, because I want to see where we all are. I want to see where Star is, where Ego is, where Laddie is, where John is, Stuart, everyone, the whole gang. So that's all I have to say.
Well, fantastic. Thank you. And yeah, we can. And 2021 is just a few hours from now. So they'll be here before you know it. We're already June 18th. How did that happen? What a year it's been so far. My goodness. And you know what? Carlene brought up some great points, which I won't elaborate on now because I want to share the time. We got a lot of people that want to speak all of a sudden. So let's go to Wayne, and then N. Thomas, and then Kim. Hey, Wayne.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. There you are.
Good. Good. Hey, there's been quite a few comments here about jumping in, and I saw some in the chat there about jumping in with both feet. So I got a little. When I was a kid, I grew up on the Canadian prairies here, and the biggest sea we had was a sea of wheat, and I was terrified of water. So I was at my cousin's place, and we were in the pool, and I was in the shallow end holding on for dear life, and he told me he would teach me how to swim. So he took me around to the diving board in the at the deep end and held my hand, and we jumped off the diving board, and I was probably 14 years old at this stage. And when my head came above the water, he was at the edge, and I was there in the middle of the deep end by myself. So there was really only one thing to do, and that was to get to the edge. It wasn't pretty, but I made it. But the one thing that came from that is that the rest of the time I was there, I just kept jumping off the diving board and was loving it. So, I don't have a fear of water now. I'm not a great swimmer, but I love getting in the water and doing things around the water. So really with this Amazon thing, I'm jumping in, and the only way to really swim is to be in the water. And it may not be pretty, but we learn as we go. So super excited here. I'm looking forward to jumping in. There's some doubts, some things still about how to set up and all those sorts of things, but we're on the way. I think we're all on the way. So let's keep doing it. And I think we're talking tomorrow too, John.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Wayne, for your perspective. And yeah, there's no replacement for experience. There's no substitute for that. I'm looking back in the chat. A couple people were asking for my email address. Nina, will the lovely Nina please put that in the chat? If people need to get in touch with me directly, look for Nina's text. Let's go to N. Thomas, then Kim, then Leah and Stuart. Hey, N. Thomas.
Hello everyone. I hope you can hear me. Hi. Just want to introduce myself really. I've been doing.
Please, because I don't think your name is N. Thomas.
Natalie. Thomas.
Natalie, there's Natalie,
Yes.
everybody. Yay.
Hi everyone. So you've probably seen my face along the way. I've been joining since I think the beginning of May. So I'm on this journey, been on this journey with you guys since then. I'm really finding this group really supportive, really informative, just loving the whole vibe. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. And just really kind of some of the things that people have said have kind of really resonated with me. I finished one of the books, The Miracle Morning, and getting up, doing my exercise, trying to, really kind of stay positive, which has really been great. And the book I'm reading now is the one that people continue to mention, which is the 5-second rule. And I find that really, since Monday, since I started to read that book, I've just got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it in my mind. And so it's something that's really kind of helped me to kind of push through. I would like to say, since day one of starting this whole thing up, I wasn't daunted by anything in terms of setting up, getting onto the Amazon thing and, suppliers, all of that. My biggest fear was around finding the right products, because obviously everything kind of hinges on that. And I've heard what people have said along the way, and heard other people have had the same concern. And even though I've tried to be really positive about it, it's that thing of, in your gut or your body, you can feel the kind of the anxiousness kind of building up. But I've been determined really to kind of still keep pushing through. And I feel like that's what I'm doing at the moment, because I'm sort of knee deep in product research, and I've kind of tried to focus this next sort of 2 weeks or so on just really kind of getting under the teeth of that. I've done my vision board, which you can see in the background, to kind of help me and inspire me. And I just feel like at the moment, I've got this just feeling that I'm not going to be defeated. I'm just pressing through, writing down ideas, and I can feel it, the fear kind of getting less and less to inspire anybody. I still haven't got, all the products yet, or, I've probably got 1 or 2, but I know I'm going to still press, I'm going to still push, because it's just something I need to push through, and I will get to the other side. And as I say, I look forward to seeing everybody in the class of 2020 next year to see where we get to. So yeah, that's good.
Fantastic. Thank you. So good to see you here, Natalie. And we're going to hear a lot more from you moving forward. We're going to go to Kim, then Lee and Stuart, then Regina and Joe. Where is Kim Brown? Hey, Kim.
Hello. Hi, John.
Hey.
How are you?
Great.
Everybody. I don't even know where to start. I'm just like, my thoughts are everywhere. But I guess first I want to say to Adrian, I am so excited and happy for you. I love what you said about just jumping in. And I guess, that's kind of where my mind is going today, is the whole water theme. You talked about minnows, and, I this past weekend I was with a friend at the pool, and I was talking to her about my business, and I said, do you think I made the right decision? And it was so interesting because she has read the cash flow quadrant. And, she said, she says, there's this book out there called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And I said, well, you know what? That's on my list to read. And she said, well, I'm coming at this from the employee mindset. So I don't really know that I can encourage you the way that you want to be encouraged. She said, but with everything I hear you saying, you've wanted to be an entrepreneur for a long time. And she says, everything seems to make sense to me that you're moving in that right direction. And so I just wanted to say that. And then also, I guess, when I got in the pool, as we talk about water, the water was really cold. And for me, I'm not one of those people that can just kind of dip and get in slowly. I have to get in. I mean, I have to dive and go all in, and then once I'm in, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm good. And so I guess that's what's resonating with me today, is that, just to go, we've all gone all in, we've gone all in by the fact that we have taken that step to go, to join Blue Sky. And if you've joined AX10, you've taken that next step. And so we're there, we're all in, and we just need to continue to keep going. And once you're in, the water is fine. The water is good, and just keep going. I don't know. I guess I'm just all over. I'm just really excited. I'm so happy for this group. I'm happy for the encouragement. Carlene, your words were just so encouraging today. You know, just to think of that whole mindset of, you know, you can't have money. You can't have money. You can't be religious and have money. You can't, you know, all of that just needs to go out the window, and we need to flip that switch. And so that's what we're doing. And I'm just happy to be part of this group. I'm sorry that I've rambled, but thank you for letting me share. So
Thank you, Kim.
that's that.
Fantastic. So good to see you as always. Let's go to Lee and Stuart, and then Regina and Joe.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hey John.
Good.
This imposter syndrome thing has fascinated me for a while, and from everything that I've read about it, even the most successful CEOs have a little bout of imposter syndrome, and it's this concept of feeling like you don't belong in the club, or that you're not worthy to be on that panel, or that you don't deserve to be, you know, in that group, or that whatever you're doing, speaking in front of a group of people or whatever it is, that we have these self-doubts, and there's always that little voice inside of us that says that you're not good enough or you're not worthy or whatever it is. And I think the trick with some of that is that it's truly an act of courage to work through those things. It's an act of determination, right? I think everything I've seen about that says that even the CEOs and the really, really successful people that go through this, it's not about dispelling that or making it non-existent. It's about acting in spite of feeling those things, right? So there's sort of this courageous aspect to it. And I gotta say, like, that plays in, like you were saying, to this concept of we're essentially trying on the clothes of an Amazon seller, right? And I think that many of us might feel like, oh, well, I'm not really there yet, or I'm not, you know, it doesn't feel right, or we have doubts about whether or not we're going to be a good Amazon seller. And I think a lot of the things that you talk about, John, in terms of from Wake Up and Live, about acting as if, right? Act as if you're a successful Amazon seller, become the person that you want to become, but act as if you're that person already, right? I think those are tricks that I use to sort of help me work through that. And I just want to share some of my own experiences with this. You know, I have decades of experience as being a wilderness guide, right? And I was considered an expert in my field. Almost 30 years of leading groups of people out in the wilderness and being responsible for, you know, medical and education and all kinds of stuff. And even, you know, when I was in my 20s as a young entrepreneur, there's a whole sort of slew of self-doubt and am I worthy for this, because I was young, I was just starting out and all that. But even as the decades went on and I was in my 40s, right, I still found myself every once in a while feeling like, oh, wow, am I really that guy? Am I really, you know, or is somebody going to find me out that I'm not really like the expert or whatever it is, right? And I think there's this fear of being found out that you're not you're not what you purport to be, or whatever that is. So I think that's a fascinating thing that at least I go through. I think probably a lot of you guys go through. The thing that I find, at least in my own experience with this, I've done a lot of conservation work here in New Mexico. I've helped to protect millions of acres of public land, establish national monuments, wilderness areas, all kinds of stuff. I find myself sitting at the table with senators and Congress people, and you know, Sierra Club, Wilderness Society, all these big environmental organizations, and I'm just like this guy with llamas, like sitting at the table talking about things. And I go through this all the time, like, wow, I'm sitting here with people that have businesses that are more successful than mine, that make more money than I do, or I'm just some dude and here's a senator, or whatever it is, right? And the trick, I think, is really just to not so much ignore that, but to move through it, right? Because that's where the change and the growth comes from, where we actually then become those people. So anyway, I know I've been talking a long time, but this stuff fascinates me, and thanks so much for the topic today.
Oh, well, thank you, Stuart.
Can I
yeah,
briefly
go
say
ahead.
something?
Go ahead, Leah.
Just what Stuart said about even CEOs having doubts. I just have a story that I think can support that sort of thing. I have a friend who does marketing and business strategy for architecture firms. She has worked for some of the top firms. And one day she said to me, she was looking for a new job. And one day she said to me, I still have this fear that they're going to find out that that I'm a phony, that they're going to think that I'm a phony, that she still, even with her success, had this fear that maybe I don't belong.
Yeah, that's what Stuart was just talking about. He's just some
Yeah.
guy with llamas. I'll tell you what, though, if I was out in the wilderness, I don't want to hear from the senator. I want to hear from Stuart. So, yeah. Guys, we are at 45 minutes past. We got Regina and Joe have had their hands up for a long time, and then Carol Ann, and then Carol. And then I think we're going to be completely out of time. So let's have Regina and Joe.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for your input and your contribution. It's growing every single day I get on this call. Joe and I are starting to actually feel the personal power. We're starting to feel that what we have on our dream board is coming true. We're starting to live it. We're starting to act it. We're doing the 5-second rule by just jumping in and seeing what's happening. And it's amazing. I mean, from everybody's testimony, we're now, I think I said before, we're still doing this Tony Robbins personal power. It's called Personal Power Driving Force. And we're doing that course with him as well as this and the books. And we're just finding that it's changing our relationship. It's changing how Joe and I react to each other. We're now on board and we're doing things together instead of kind of like doing things independently. We're on the same train, going the same direction. We see it going. I think the strength between us as he and I as a couple and us as a group is just making us all grow that much stronger. And I think it's just so amazing that this is all really coming true. It just blew my mind. I mean, I can actually see the money there. I could see the success. We don't have our products together yet. We're thinking of them all. They come more every day, but I think I'm going to have to book some kind of something with somebody to find out whether they're even feasible to work with. But that's where we are now. And I just want to thank everybody for everything you contribute. You guys are great. And I'm going to make it my effort to try and be a little more, I'm feeling like I'm not, like Stuart said, I feel like I'm like not worthy to speak on here because I don't have anything to say compared to what you all contributed. But I just feel like if I don't start getting up there and giving something, at least it's not fair to anybody else. So thanks anyway. And have a great day.
Thank you, Regina.
Bye.
You could see the money. See, did you hear her say that? That's beautiful. That's like textbook. There it is. Wow. Good stuff. Let's go to Carol Ann Brown, then Carol. And then if we got any other burning desires. So Carol Ann, you have the floor.
I just want to say that I know this is working. I have a friend that I've known for 20 years, and he's always been a good supporter for me. But last weekend, he had sort of a little hissy fit because I think he got very insecure because he sees a change in me. And I don't think he liked the change because I'm getting more positive and independent and that kind of stuff. And I was just surprised how he reacted. And I just want to say tomorrow I may not be here because I have a dentist appointment. But other than that, I love you guys and I'm trying to be here every day I can.
Awesome. Yeah, we see you every day except tomorrow because you'll be at the dentist. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Yeah, there's that. It was good to see you, Carol. All right, and we got Carol Reed up next. Hey, Carol. Carol Reed.
Hi there, everybody. So
There she is.
I've not been on this a long time, so I've joined this about 3 times, and I'm loving it. Every time I sort of missed the timing or whatever, I had something doing, and so I'm so glad to be here. And everybody's basically just answered every question that I have in my mind that's driving me crazy and not feeling as if I am good enough or jumping the hurdles and getting over the fears and then jumping the hurdle again. And then, so it has been, I agree with what Carleen was saying. Thank you for that, because that's encouraged me an awful lot because of the, your background, where you come from. And you're always thinking that, wealth is not something that you're supposed to, it's seen as a greedy thing, So anyway, I've dealt with that, and I've dealt with that for, a couple of years. And now, because I've been on this course, and what's been coming to me, I have found that I'm not so worried about it anymore. That's my right. I believe in myself. I know I can do this. There are a few things still that I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to get over this or whatever. But I know with the help and encouragement, and you guys just inspire me the whole way through this. I know that I'll get through it. So I just want to thank everybody and know that we will get through this. We're here for a reason. So once we understand what our journey is and our life journey is, I think we will push through, get through, and do what we need to do. So thank you.
Thank you, Carol. So glad you're here, my friend. Oh, we got a little echo on somebody's line there. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. Any burning desires, something you need to share before you?
Yes, John, can I just say something?
Yes, Toyin, go ahead.
It's I won't keep everyone. It's just in line with jumping in at the deep end, taking the plunge, and the fact that along our journeys in life, that sometimes we will have self-doubt and feel afraid. And someone I always listen to says, just do it afraid. Just do it afraid. And I always remember that. Just do it afraid. It doesn't matter. Just go ahead. Do it afraid. Don't let fear paralyze you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Toyin. Very good. I think I hear Adrian perhaps, or
John, yes. Just very quickly, I just had to jump in. What changes my mindset around not feeling greedy and feeling entitled to success with money, with knowledge, and I think this should apply to all of us. It's not just for us. We can help other people. We're not just doing it for us. We're doing it for our families, our friends, people in the community, people you can inspire and mentor, people you can support if you make money. Yeah. So we should never feel that sense of not being entitled or being greedy, because we're not just doing it for ourselves. Most of us, I think everyone on these calls that I've seen are fantastic people. They're not just doing it for themselves. So never worry about that. Forget about it. If you get that money in your hand and you get that knowledge, you can train other people, you can give them cash, you can support them. That's what it's all about.
Beautiful. Thank you, Adrian. Not to mention the example you set of picking yourself up by your bootstraps and that others can do the same. That's big. That's big. Everybody read The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, and he will set you straight on that. We are out of time, guys. I'm seeing hands go up now. We're out of time. So let's go ahead and wrap up. I will see you all back here tomorrow for Fun Friday. Bring a dog, a rat, a cat, a joke. All right. All right.
Hey, John.
Good?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.